Welcome back to Satisfactory. Now, for those of you who may notice that my voice is slightly louder this time around, I have adjusted some of the settings because I did notice that I have been fairly quiet in my recordings, and I hope that this is a little bit better. Since the last episode, as I said at the end of the last episode, I would be waiting for concrete production, and I have also done a bit more deforestation using the chainsaw, so this landscape is now a little bit barren. But that was necessary. We are making solid biofuel, and it's almost done with one stack, so let it complete that one, and we'll grab these 200 and let it continue to create. This one is also done, so we'll put those over in the hub in our chest there. Now, since I played Satisfactory last, I have noticed that they have... oh, by the way, as you can see, we have an ample supply of solid biofuel, which will last us for quite some time. But what I was saying is that they have added the ability to have multiple hotbars. If you look down at the bottom where I have the hotkeys, where one is the power pole, 2 is the power line, and so forth. If you hold down Alt, you can now, well, you need not be in a build mode, but you can then swap, you decide, between different hotkey bars. And that's something that I am very, very happy about. I haven't talked about the hotbar before, but I think it is time to do so now, because it's time for us to arrange things on the hotbar, because I want to have things in a certain order, and this is not the correct order that I prefer to have things in at all. I want to have the conveyor belt Mark 1 on hotbar 1, so to assign an item to a slot in the hotbar, as it says here, bind to hotbar, you hover over the item and then you click the appropriate key that you want that item to be on. Now the power poles is quite important. They should obviously be under power. I don't remember where I usually have those. I know that I have mergers and splitters on 4 and 5. Let's put those on 9 and 10, I think. Or rather, let's put those on 3 and 4. And I want the lookout tower on 10. The constructor, we can have a 9. Craft bench on 8, because that's going to be handy. And then let's go to the next. Let's go to hotbar 10 for the foundations. We want this on 1, that on 2, or rather that on 2, and this on 3, and this on 4. I usually don't use the 8x1 foundations. I use the 8x4 for the ground level, and I use 8x2 for secondary floors, although that is not the plan in this specific playthrough, but we'll get back to that in a much later episode. Anything else that I have here that I want to have quick access? Nah, that should be fine. So let's go back to the primary hotbar. We have an ample supply of concrete now. Let's put that in there, and let's go ahead and nab. Yeah, that should suffice. So I was thinking that we should build the base. Oh wait, I need to go put one of those back, because I need space for that. I was thinking that we would start with our starting base, like over here in this area here, So that's definitely the plan, but I need to clear out some of this vegetation. This is not part of the vegetation. I'm not... Yeah, this is... Thankfully this is copper. I would have been very, very upset if that was uranium, because that would have been very annoying. Let's just... Oh, I don't have room for that. Right. Can I build the... Yeah, I can build a storage container. Hopefully I can put this thing in there. Yes, I can. Obviously that container is temporary. We need to use this. I do apologize for the annoying sounds. Just picking things up manually to avoid that horrible sound. Although I probably should have used it here, because that rock looks like something that would have disappeared. But no matter. Yeah, I will do this. And that basically cleared up that. I doubt there is anything up here. We can only pick up. Let's see if it takes away the rock. No, it doesn't. So we can just take away these things. Not that I'm planning on building up here. That looks like sulfur. No, that is Caterium ore. We'll get back to Caterium ore. Suffice to say that Caterium ore is something that you want to find very, very quickly in the game. At least if you want to be able to do some useful things. I need to cut this down. Which means I need to target it as well. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, I think that should suffice in terms of clearing out some of the vegetation of the area. I'd like to keep the river. But I'd also like to start in a location that's a bit higher up than the river, and then we can use ramps to get up. I haven't really thought this out very well, have I? At least this is not a node. Okay, so first of all, what I know we have to do is get rid of that ore, because the game will say that we cannot place anything there because it's encroaching others' clearance, and this is the other that we are encroaching for some reason. Most of the things in the game you can get away with building on top of, but as you can see I can now place the foundation there where I couldn't earlier. Snack tree. But I have no space, but we'll put the copper ore in this container. Because I don't want to... Let's put in all of these things in the container. I don't need them particularly right now. And we'll go grab those beryl nuts. So I'm thinking that we could start... I don't want to go as high as at the top of the dune, do I? Actually, I might just want to do that. Because even if this is just going to be a starter base, it's going to be big. Let's go kill that hog. Hello. Yeah. Oh, die now. This is a normal copper node. That's good. What's the highest point of reference here? I think it is this little outcropping here. That hog can happily stand there by itself. And yeah, let's start here with a foundation. I would like to go on the north, south, east, west axis. That looks fairly angled with the north-south axis. It's a bit high though. Yeah, I don't think I want it that high. That's better. So there's going to be a fair amount of foundations here. I'm wondering if I maybe should use the 8x2 foundations instead. Except for the obvious ones up here. Yeah, let's do that. You can remove things, as I explained in the tutorial series. You can remove things by holding down Control. But it bears repeating. This one should be 8x4. This one should be 8x4. This one should not be 8x4. So we'll start using the 8x2 foundations here. Because I probably will use the area down there as well for the starter base, because I want to feature things like the lifts and so forth, as well as the regular belts. And this really is very impractical. Why am I doing this from underneath when I can do it from on top? Don't want to build any ramps just yet, because I don't know if this is where we're going to have the entry point. Okay, now let's continue building some foundations here. And let's go down here. I think we'll do this and then that, so that we have something that at least has the semblance of being support for the construction that we're making here. Is there anything of interest up here, I wonder? No, there doesn't seem to be anything at all up here. Barely some vegetation is all. Which we are going to ignore. Okay, so that gives us sort of that dune over there is higher, but we don't need that big of a base in the beginning. We're going to go compact now at the start, and we can always branch out in that direction as well. But there is some specific foundations I want before we go into the Megabase part. Well, that will be in the future though. Let's do this, and then this, and this, and this. I think, can I please get a foundation underneath there? Thank you. That I don't think is necessary. Okay, so we have a kind of like a support corner here. Now, you don't need to build it like that in terms of support. It's just me who have a tendency to like having things looking logical, I suppose. Okay, so now we have kind of a basic layout for one part of the factory up there. And the sun is going down as well. Let's turn on the flashlight, which you can use the button B for. And we want to have a few things down here as well. So again, let's build on the northeast southwest axis here, and I want to make sure that that rock is covered. Yeah, that works. Some buildings can't have anything built above them. The hub is one of the buildings that this applies to. The reason for that being the shuttle. And also the space elevator is kind of difficult to build anything above, since it's a huge anchor for a wire going up into space. I don't know how big I need this to be. I'd like to have enough room to have proper walking distances here, so that we have some structure. And foundations is, for me, when I build bases, foundations is a must. I have explained that in the tutorial series as well. But I don't like building bases not using foundations because of the massive help that the foundations provide in terms of snapping. God, that was difficult. Like if I want to build, I need to go at that. If I want to build, say, a constructor, you can see there is no kind of snapping down there. But if I try to build it up here, it snaps to the grid of the foundations. And that is something that I find very useful. You'll also notice that these foundations are 8 by 2. If you see there, I'm at the middle of one foundation is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So basically, this constructor is actually also 8 meters, but it is about, there's a grid here, so each of the snap points is, I believe, 1 meter, which is weird, I suppose, since this doesn't strike me as 1 meter, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then, yeah, it might not be meters because the 8 might be the square itself. I haven't really measured that. You can do that with the Satisfactory Calculator site, by the way, which is something that I'll also come back to, because that is a massively important site for me, at least, when I'm playing. There's many features, but we'll get back to the calculator at a later point in this series as well. There are multiple of them. I like the one that's on satisfactorycalculator.com. That is satisfactory-calculator.com. But I also like the one that is on Greenie. I don't remember the URL for that one, but Greenie's calculator is also useful because they have different features. As expected from calculators, I suppose. So yeah. But as I said, we'll get back to the calculators later on when they become more relevant and necessary. I don't need calculators for doing the basic stuff that we're going to do now. The only thing that I have been using the calculator for, and that I will be using the calculator for, is locating nodes, so that I know where the nodes are in relation to me. And the satisfactorycalculator.com site provides a very handy, that's not right, a very handy map where you can actually upload the save game, or any save game, and it will show you the location of where you are in the world, where there are nodes in the world, and all kinds of things, slugs and poison fields, and all the things that are on the map. Hard drives, which we'll also get back to for those of you who are not familiar with those. Those are also very important. So yeah, the calculator site is very useful and very important for many things, to put it mildly. I'm not sure. I don't think we've run out of power. It just seems that... Yeah, no, it just looked like we could have been in danger of that. Let's go check on these. Yeah, let's take that and that. Then we go to this one and then take this out and put this in. We do need this. This is a very important thing because we need splitters and mergers, and also having the lifts will be useful. Productivity display, yes, that is absolutely useful. It appears here. We'll get back to that as well. But let's set that as a milestone. It means I'll have to craft some wire. And I don't think I've set up an automated facility for that, so that will be one of the first things that we do in the new factory. Ah, we have copper ore that I can't put in here because it's full. Well, we'll put it in the chest over here and get it out when needed. Also, let's go over and put the leaves and the wood into these containers. And it would appear that these things are done. At least one of them should be, because this is moving very slowly. 200. No, I didn't mean to take that. I want to put that back. 200. Okay, let's grab these 2 stacks. If I had if I had mergers and splitters now, I could have just set up a container to do the collection of these things automatically, which would have been massively helpful. But since we don't have that, I have to do it manually for now. But that will soon change. I'll keep the nuts around. Right, so I need to make some wire. So I'll just pause the recording while I do that. There we go, and again my Stream Deck isn't doing what I wanted to do, but thankfully I am being observant of it, so at least I'm not recording with you just watching the logo. We have what we need to do this, so let's put in 150 of those and 150 of those and the 300 wire, and kaboom.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to increase the complexity and efficiency of your factory. We encourage you to consider more verticality when it comes to factory logistics to streamline short-range transportation. The productivity display will help you measure and improve the productivity of individual buildings to aid with optimization.
Alright, now the productivity, as I said, well, it's actually here. Should be something down here as well. That's weird. Well, I might be... It might just be this, because it's not something that I check very often, and I'm not sure if it's these here or whatever it is. You guys can go back and watch in the video to see what it is. And you can tell me. I'm sure you will. So let's see here. What else do we want to build? Or, well, we can't set a milestone. We can set a milestone, but the pod is not available. Getting more inventory slots and hand slots, yes, please. Part assembly, that is not necessary just yet. We don't need the resource sync program either currently, and we definitely don't need that. So the one we will take is the field research, but I will not finish that for the time being. So I need to ensure that I have enough wire, because I have a little bit of a lack of that. 31 is not enough. Let's grab these plates. And I think I have to handcraft another stack of wire, so I will just pause the recording again quickly while I do that. There we go. And what do you know? The Stream Deck actually changed the scene manually. Or automatically. So we also need a little bit concrete. Now I have a question for you guys. And this is fairly important. Because when I did my last series, I usually did concrete layout in between episodes, like what I did here. I didn't want to do that anyways now for the first episode, but some people like to just have me or watch people build alongside themselves, and that's perfectly fine in terms of watching kind of like a build-along thing, while other people probably don't enjoy watching me place down several hundred concrete foundations when I'm building or preparing large areas like this. So I would really like if you guys could give me some feedback on what you would prefer in that regards, because after all, the main thing that is important with doing YouTube is that the viewers should be entertained, but also that, of course, I have fun while I do it. That's not a problem, because I actually enjoy doing the concrete foundation planning work and stuff like that, but I know that I probably could find it a bit tedious myself to watch 15 minutes of concrete foundation laying, and there isn't really that much interesting that I can be talking about while I'm laying down concrete foundations. So, of course, I will always find something to talk about. Of that I have no doubt, but I would like to know what you guys feel about that. Would you like me to record everything? Except for things like waiting for getting enough of a product or handcrafting things. I would have paused now if it weren't for the fact that I'm actually talking. Or would you prefer that I do concrete work between episodes or pause the recording while I do concrete work? Please let me know so that I can make some kind of basis for how I should do this series. Also keep in mind, I don't mind at all, because I'm going to play the game anyways, so keep in mind that it's going to be a lot of episodes if I am to record just about everything I do, but I don't mind, not at all. You guys tell me what you would prefer, and we'll go from there. I want to set up a small array of constructors here. We are not going to build large, so we're going to build compact and have a base that is not drawing too much power. We do have, I mean, there is enough vegetation around the area here, but the less time I can use or spend running around with my chainsaw, even though I would be doing that off camera, the more efficient things will be. And I also want to show how to build a base, a starting base within reasonable limits. So this line here I want to have producing iron plates. Now, each of the iron plate constructors will require 30 ingots per minute, which basically means that one Mark I belt is enough for 2 of these constructors. When it comes to the other part that we need to manufacture, which is the iron rod, one belt, as you can see, will supply 4 times 15, which is again 60, because 60 is the number of items a Mark I belt is capable of transporting per minute. So let's just start with 2 of these here, and here you can see the snapping in action. I'm not holding down any buttons on the keyboard now, and even if I'm not, it is showing me the green line because this is being done on foundations. I think it happens outside. Yep, it does happen outside of the foundations as well, but it is kind of, you know, finicky because it only snaps in a very little area here. I can hold down control, which will force it into the snap mode, and you can do that here as well. It forces into snap mode in a certain degree. If you move too far off, it will jump out of the snap. But if I don't hold down control, like here, now I dropped control, I'm pressing control. So control for snapping is useful, but the green line is what is most important when it comes to that. So we'll have two constructors here, which we will set to make iron plates. And that means we're going to have a belt coming in from the iron node in here. I do need another iron node because we only have enough for these two, and we do need to have a node producing... we do need to have the iron rod production as well. Splitter on 5, merger on 6. I don't think it's necessary to use any lifts here. So what I usually like to do, I can put the lift on 7. What I usually like to do here is, if you have, do note the red arrows, that is the input of a splitter, whereas on the merger you will have 3 red arrows showing that it is inputs and 1 green output. The splitter has 3 green outputs and 1 red input, probably to everyone's huge surprise. Now I think that the usual distance I would build this in would be... oh, they fixed that. That's very useful. Yeah, I thought as much. The usual distance I build these in is 3 out. And what I meant by, oh, they fixed that, is the following. 1, 2, 3. What usually happened here was that the splitter would be that direction, which was a major annoyance for me who use a lot of these. So I'm very happy that they've fixed that so that it actually has the same direction as the original splitter underneath. It would, for the second one, when that was turned into the correct position, then all of the rest in a splitter tower or a merger tower would be angled correctly, but you had to do it with the first one. And if you didn't do it with the first one, it would be arbitrary, whatever the arrows went upwards there. So that's a very good fix. We don't really need to do this here, but I want to show it off early on, both because of viewer retention and also because this is a fairly important part of base building later on. The next part that I would do here is build a lift, and I would have that lift go down there. And that boom sound means that it has attached. So if I build a lift here, you hear it says click. And let's repeat that sound, because that sound is fairly important. There. That's attached. Now this thing will transport things from that splitter down this lift and into this machine. So if you try to attach an elevator, or for that matter a belt, I think. No. It applies to the elevators. If you try to attach an elevator, you don't hear that boom sound. It means it isn't attached, and you have done something wrong. Why do I build like this? Well, it gives us the ability to walk behind here in a much more unobstructed. Gee, thank you, brain. As compared to having belts that I would have to jump across. So I usually like to have this on both sides. And if I do buses, which we'll come back to later on in the series, I would also have some of these lifts go to absurd heights. They have a fairly high distance that they can go up. I don't remember exactly how high it is, but it's fairly useful in terms of getting products to where you want them without having to build, say we have 2 belts like this. And then I want 1 belt there, and I want one to go there. Now you get these belts that look like this, and a belt that looks like that. I mean, it's not a problem. If you want to build angled belts, then by all means do. I prefer building with straight belts whenever possible, and also have angles that are as correctly curved in terms of 90-degree angles as possible. So that's something that I strive for in my factories, because call it meticulousness. I just like the structure and orderliness that provides to the factory. So we now want to get iron coming into there, which means that we need also to have a smelter array. And I think I want to have the smelter array on the other side of the river here. What we'll do is we'll get out our foundations, and we'll build foundations across the river. And of course this is a bit too high, but I don't think that's a problem, because I only need 4 will be more than sufficient. Do we have to build? Yes, the 4th one is fine. I'm a bit wary about the 4th one in terms of the river there, though. No matter, I think 3 is plenty, actually, if I remember correctly. Smelter. Yeah, 3 is perfect. Now you will see that that thing actually snaps to the thing over there. So this snapping system, when using foundations, it is so much easier to have things snap correctly, which is why I do vastly prefer to build with foundations. That said, I don't see any reason why we can't have the foundations in here, because we're going to have a line of smelters here. I don't want to go too far this way because of the river. How far can we go without obstructing the river? Yeah, that's about how far we can go, actually. Let's build some ramps here then. Because I really don't want the river to be obstructed. That's fine, but more than that I would be displeased. And we can also build in the other direction. I don't plan on having a major, huge, big smelting array here anyways, so... let's have a few more foundations that way. Come on, game. I want the 3rd one. Thank you. And we need to pick up those. And we can do this. And this. And this. There we go. Now I need to go check. I'm fairly certain that we have 1 iron node over here. Do we have more iron nodes? Well, that's a stupid question. Of course we have more iron nodes, but do we have more iron nodes here? No. We have out there, and so we have 2 in those directions. So we're going to have to go tap them, because we need another iron node. This one is normal, so it will provide enough for smelting 60 iron ingots, which I am fairly certain involves 2 of these. Yep. So let's go set up 2. Oh wait, I don't want to go away before I have grabbed this, 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 and this in there. There we go. And do we need more concrete? Yeah, let's grab 2 stacks of concrete. Okay, so smelters. I want to have a merger, not a splitter, a merger. And I want to have that in line with that thing over there. I think this is the correct place to put it, but let's just leave it at that 1 for now, because the smelting array should have an input on that side, the output on that side. And I think it's a fairly good location to have it here. Do I want 3 or 2? I think 2 is good. Let me see if I place another one, because I want to make sure that I get the... Oh, right. That's actually too much. I think this is enough, actually. Yep, it is. Here's a 90-degree angle turn. Of course, this isn't enough because I needed to go up with lifts. I completely forgot that. Pardon my silliness here. Let's just put that down there. And tentacle noises there. Okay, so we need it to be 1, 2, 3, of course. And then sample it and put 1 more there. And sample that. Ah, so they haven't fixed it completely. Okay, well, at least it worked somewhat. And the boom sound, very good. And then we have to put a merger with 2 green lines there. And we need the green output to go towards the other one. Yeah, no, they haven't fixed it completely. Then do this and the boom sound. Okay, I'm not going to say that every time. And then we connect that to that, and then we can connect the belt to there. Yeah, I need the Caledorn boots as well, but that's not going to be for a while yet. Okay, now we have 2 smelters here that are prepared. So let's do... I mean, I don't really need to do the lift on the backside here. As a matter of fact, I don't think I want that at all. Let's just connect this to... Okay, so 1, 2, and we connect that to there, and then we can connect this to there. And now what I need to do is shut off the access to the node over here. The best way to do that is to just remove the power line. And we will wait until this have emptied out, because I don't want to go and run around with iron ore. So I will do that off camera. So looking at the time of this episode, I think that this is actually a pretty good location to end the episode. Just going to check the power here. Yeah, we're out of power in these 2 biomass burners, but we seem to be doing okay. So we are not using more than 30 megawatts at the moment. Probably because those 2 machines are not working currently. But yes, I will let that iron belt run out on its own, and in the next episode we will be finishing up the smelting line, and we will also start storing the iron plates in proper storage facilities, aka the storage containers. And we will go look for another vein of iron ore so that we can make an iron rod production line as well. We also need to set up a copper wire production line. So there are many things that we need to do, but yeah, I think that we will call it an episode here. So, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those in the comment section. Or if you want, you can also come join us in the Discord. You'll find the link to that in the description of the video or in the banner of my channel. It's a very friendly community, and we have a dedicated channel to Satisfactory there, where we can discuss anything Satisfactory related, but there's also a lot of other things that's going on in the Discord, so yeah, please come join us if you want to. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will be seeing you in the next episode.